This actually is a very useful tool for you that Deb Lozier, who is over our Michigan Women's Marketplace, information is for that is at the back table there. It's a scorecard for your business to keep track of what you are doing in your business, setting goals. So definitely you want to utilize this. And if you fill out an evaluation, I will make sure that you get this. I will send it to your email, so you'll have it right there to type in directly to. Okay, sounds good? And also, you should have received 16 free or low-cost ways to market your business. So make sure that you have these handouts, okay? I am going to now introduce our moderator for our panel discussion. Mr. Michael Forsythe is the Retail Business Development Manager at the Detroit Economic Growth Corporation and Program Manager of Revolve. Revolve is a new program launched by DEGC that partners with community leaders, building owners, entrepreneurs, and artists to activate vacant storefronts with transformational businesses and art installations. The goal of the program is to foster the evolution and vibrancy of Detroit's neighborhood business districts. Michael attended Michigan State University, yay, where he earned a degree in environmental studies and a master's in urban and regional planning. While at MSU, Michael worked the night shift at General Motors and at the Land Policy Institute between classes. During that time, Michael fell in love with Detroit through some strange combination of joining the UAW, planning inner cities, and playing rock shows at Detroit Dives. That love led Michael to seek experiences that he could apply in the city. He studied in Germany's post-industrial cities and joined a Seattle consulting firm where he led a range of economic development and planning projects. He's a proud new Southwest Detroit resident and is thankful to do what he loves every day, helping small businesses grow and prosper in a truly special city. Here's Michael.
Thank you, Michelle. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Good, good. Well, Michael Forsythe with the DGC. Thanks for the introduction, Michelle. And I'm a very casual person, so this is hopefully going to be a fun Monday afternoon session. Definitely very much a conversation as opposed to a lecture. But you know, just to start out, it's a real honor to be here. It's really quite humbling being on the panel with what I consider some of the great retail experts in Detroit. Somehow I got lumped into that, but you know, these are people who I learn from every time I talk to them. So that's where I get all my knowledge. So I'm excited to learn more today from them, and we'll hopefully share some really tangible takeaways about new ways to profit in the retail industry. And just to get started, I always like to get an idea of who's in the crowd. So just quick show of hands, who here owns a business? Okay, very good, thank you. Who here wants to start a business? Okay, good, good. So I have an app. Who's here to do business? Network. Okay, perfect. Great. So you know, we're going to be talking a little bit about marketing, social media, some other things like that. So I just kind of want to get a flavor for what you're already doing. So for the business owners out there, how many of you have an online presence of some sort? Okay, good. So most. Keep your hands up really quick. Who has a website? Okay, everybody, sweet. Who uses Facebook? Who has updated it in the past week? Everybody. My job's done. How many updated it today? Okay, you guys are pros. I mean, all right, everybody go home. No, just kidding. Okay, well that's great. That's really, really good. It's good to see that. I mean, one thing, I grew up in Michigan, grew up in Lansing. Very proud to be a Detroiter now, but I lived in Seattle beforehand, and everything was on the web. And one thing I like about Detroit, but I think one of the challenges is you know, Detroit has amazing retail. It's, you know, people always talk about, well, you know, it's not really retail in Detroit. They just don't know. I mean, it's great retail, it's exciting, it's new, you get to explore all these different parts of the city, all these independent businesses. You know, we don't have a lot of chains. I like independent businesses, so I think it's great. But people just don't know about them. So I think today we'll talk with some veterans to, you know, kind of figure out how the world discovered them and how they, you know, present themselves. So we'll let the pros talk about that. But I want to just share, I want to share a resource and a couple of examples just to kind of get the wheels turning here. Okay. You know, so we're talking about new ways to profit in the retail industry. I want to talk a little bit about pop-up retail first. So Michelle gave you a little bit of an overview about Revolve. Brand new program just started about 2 weeks ago. We just launched our newest pop-up coffee shop, Café con Leche del Esta, with Café con Leche in Southwest. Thank you. I haven't been sleeping very much, and I've been literally drinking Café con Leche in Southwest, and then driving to Lafayette and drinking more Café con Leche. So I'm just going pure adrenaline and caffeine right now. So what we're trying to do is foster this phenomenon called pop-up retail. And really what it is a temporary thing with potential to be long-term. So for example, we have one called Coffee and in West Village. It's coffee and whatever Angela, the owner, feels like baking that day. It's kind of fun. But she's there for a month. She's there every day for a month. You know, open at 7 till around 2 or 3 or so. We have another pop-up called Pramu, which is an apparel shop. So they opened up alongside Tashmu Beer Garden, another pop-up, which brought in a lot of traffic, and they kind of started that way. Now, they're morphing into this holiday season. They're going to do some arts events and some things like that so they can stick around. So I think pop-up is cool because you can experiment and you can test out your business model, and hopefully the point is, you know, to keep costs low, keep risk low. You're not necessarily, you know, tying yourself down to a year-long lease. So it's a great way to test out a location, figure out what sales you'll get, figure out how much rent you can pay based on your sales, and, you know, find out what works and what doesn't. If it works, great. If it doesn't, that's great too. You figured it out. So, you know, I think, you know, part of learning how to profit is, you know, figuring out what doesn't work. So that's important. But, you know, this pop-up thing, I think, lets you experiment and find out what works. It's not for everybody. It's not right in all cases. But it's a great way to kind of market yourself and put yourself out there. Because everybody loves a good story in Detroit, and business people starting new businesses, trying new things, always a good story. So, you know, it tends to get a lot of play. I want to just give you a couple examples of businesses now that I think do some special things in the marketing world, but they do one thing really well. It's not a new thing, it's a very old thing. Vanessa said it earlier. What's the best form of marketing? Word of mouth. Word of mouth, yes. And how do you get people to say great things about your business? Customer service. Great customer service. Customers are king. So, you know, if you're lucky enough to get people into your store to buy something, treat them like royalty. Because, I mean, you know, you go to a Meijer because it's a Meijer. You go to an independent business because of you. You know, you are the face of the business. You are the business. And, you know, much of the marketing now is personal. You know, people want to know your story. People want to know that, you know, you're making your own apparel out of your own home. And it's 3 blocks away from my home. So I'm going to support my neighbor and things like that. You know, I want to know that you are cooking out of a kitchen in a restaurant I go to all the time. I think that's cool. So, you know, make it personal. I think that's my takeaway, both for you, the business owner, but also for the customers. And, One person who I think does that really well is Liz Blondie at K95, just down the street here. So I want to show some things that I think are great. So, you know, Liz is really good at introducing her customers to her employees. And she's gotten a lot better at this over the years. There hasn't always been, you know, the greatest employee-boss relations. I'm sure many of you have gone through that. I have. Liz does a great job at, you know, kind of celebrating her employees. So people feel very special when they know who is taking care of their dog. You know, she's great. Pictures worth 1,000 words. Show pictures. You know, you don't always have to explain it. It's great, you know, visual people get what you're trying to do. And, you know, it's great to, when other people are promoting your business for you, which is why Facebook, I think, is so great. So tap into your network, tap into your customers, treat them great, and they'll say good things about you. So those are some good personal touches. And you know everybody's crazy about their pets, so Liz has a good thing going. Detroit Vegan Soul. Brand new business. I'm a big Detroit Vegan Soul fan. I think they're doing great things. Kirsten, if you know her at Detroit Vegan Soul, is like a marketing master. She's a great resource of someone to talk to. But one thing I think they do really well is, you know, they started as kind of pop-up, but they go to the community. They go to their customers. So they've done lots of pop-up things, and they're great at cross-promoting. So there's True Body Fitness in Corktown. Okay, they serve vegan food. Healthy people are most likely to eat vegan food. So they threw a dinner at True Body Fitness, and it was very well attended. They, I think, just taught a, where is it? Yeah, a class at Whole Foods, exactly. Veganize it, right? So, yeah, I mean, they're really good at aligning themselves with other businesses. The thing I love about Detroit and why I love my job is the business community here helps each other. So, you know, I don't think you can be afraid of competition. I think you embrace it. You find a business that complements yours, cross-promote, do events together, and you can do it. I think you can do good things. You know, we talked a little bit about coffee and, you know, this is a little bit out there, but people always want to know what's in here. You know, you got to keep it fresh, and I think, you know, that's what we're going to talk about today. What are different ways to keep it fresh? What are ways to always talk about the new things happening in your store? You got to get people keep coming back in through the doors in order to make money. You know, pictures of delicious baked goods always helps. So yeah, those are, you know, just a few you know, quick examples off the top of my head. But I don't want to talk anymore. I want to let the experts talk. So I'm going to invite the panelists up. We'll do a quick round of introductions and we'll start the conversation.